Hey guys, it's your girl Lila, aka Geek XX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to The Umbrella Academy. We're now in Season 2, Episode 4, which is called The Magic 12. No idea what that could possibly mean. The titles of these episodes this season are really, like, they're on the nose for the episode, but as far as trying to guess what's going on, they're so nebulous, and I kind of like that. And so there's a lot of extra chaos going on, and I'm here for it, so I'm very excited to keep going on with this episode. So I'm gonna jump in. Before we do, if you've been here before, you like what you see, please guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because, you know, it lets me know that you like this kind of content, lets me know to keep making it. It also allows you to be notified as soon as I upload new episodes. So without further ado, let's get into this episode right now. Oh my god, this got dark really quickly. Oh my god, she wasn't lying about that story. Okay.
Look what we have here. Does this belong to you?
The way she's talking to this girl like she didn't just murder her parents.
Come here, darling.
Don't do it. That's the arms of the devil. Wow. So her being in the nut house really isn't that far from being the truth. She's literally been through it. She's got so much damage to be raised by your killer. I mean...
Because I think there's something he left out about me.
Because you already know, Vanya. You just gotta let yourself remember.
Caused the apocalypse.
Why? Oh, you.
Just get out, please.
Well, I don't mind staying, and I have some more questions.
Knew that wall was going. I already knew it. Number 5's like, you are so predictable. It's actually funny.
You're our sister and a member of the Umbrella Academy. Like it or not, that's who you are.
But that's who I was, okay?
And there's the mental block. But yeah, I think it's a mixture of him, what he wants, and also a combination of, so what Vanya wants, but also like what she didn't want.
Raymond Chestnut. He may have been brought in last night after the riot at Sadler's. Why does that matter? Of course you don't treat Negroes. How silly of me.
You alright?
No, Ray didn't come home last night.
Okay, no problem. I'm sure he's fine. First thing we're gonna need is coffee, vitamin B12, and a piping hot bowl of menudo. And we're gonna sort all this stuff out.
It's so
You
cute.
saw me rumor that cop, Klaus.
I know, but you were saving his life. I mean, that asshole was gonna kill him.
He was.
I'm such an idiot.
No, you're not.
I promised myself I would never do this again. Nothing good ever comes from it.
Have you ever heard the fable of the scorpion and the frog?
It's a good term. It's a really good parable.
He asked the frog to carry him across. But the frog's like, well, what's in it for me? And the scorpion's like, all right, how about $5? And the frog says, make it 20. The scorpion's like, 10. The frog goes, all right, fine, 15. And the scorpion's like, all right, fine, 15. And halfway across the river, the frog feels this terrible pain on his back. And the scorpion stung him, you know? And the frog's like, well, what the hell? We're both gonna drown now. And they both did.
You completely missed the point of that.
The point of that story
Is frogs are bitches, and we do not negotiate with terrorists.
No. I actually can't deal with you right now.
What?
But right now, our priority is finding Dad and getting answers. Because everything else depends on it.
Which, for the record, I found him
And
already.
then let him go. waited this long, Diego. We got it.
I love him. I'm sorry. I know they all hate number 5, but he's my favorite.
Now, tell me what the hell happened out there.
Where do I start? Swedish Mafia came after me, not the band. I have magical powers. Might be an alien. I also destroy worlds when I'm a little upset.
He bought pink paint at the store. Pink paint. Makes sense.
Oh, God.
Pink can actually be very masculine.
How do you not choke on your own misogyny, sir?
Don't sacrifice yourself for nothing.
Hit him, damn it!
Because I love you.
Hit him!
I love you.
Hit the queer!
And I know.
He's gonna hit you, Klaus. You seem to forget this is the 60s. And also, you sound crazy.
What they offer you? Money?
What? Who?
No, you tell me.
Oh, yeah, I guess it does look like she might be working with the cops.
Crazy.
What'd you say to the cop?
I didn't say anything.
I saw you. How you just fell out of the sky, sweeping up hair in this shop of all places, reading my pamphlets, wanting to join us.
I told you. I can explain.
Then do it. Please, God, explain.
He's not worth it. If he can't even ask you, if he's gonna assume, he's not worth it, Allison. Sorry. I mean, I know it's shady as, but if he really loved you, he'd be like, I need you to explain, I need to understand, not just accuse and assume. So, give him his ring back. Because like, can you leave me alone while I stress eat, please? He's so confused, bless him. Where'd everybody go?
We did it again. Apparently.
Did what again?
Ended the world. Or we will in 7 days from now, according to Five.
What?
Doomsday.
Ox! She's like, great, so I'm getting divorced and the world's ending. This is the best week ever. Don't call her mom. Don't call her mom. That'd be really awkward. Don't do it.
Never good to keep a lady waiting.
Tell him that if you find him.
Interesting. She must have made an impact if he designed an entire robot after her. Did he just throw that in there, or did he actually go in the water? Power time! Now, can her powers not murder everybody or suck the life out of them? Let's see. Oh, did she do that? So, that might make sense though, because we saw in last season she was actually able to suck life out of them. I guess she can do the opposite as well.
You say when they be back?
Not sure.
Don't touch me! This actor's great. He's actually been low-key awesome, even though I haven't mentioned him a lot. It's very real fear when you have a child that isn't one that you can't communicate with anyways. Oh my god, I cannot believe these boys are just sitting here getting high. I can't!
Don't worry. She'll be dead in 7 days. We all will.
Wow, I love how they changed the pitch of the voice and everything there. That was cool. Diego's hurt! Leave him alone! Man you love over the man your mama will need you to protect. You don't underestimate the strength of a woman's thighs. I'm telling you, we can crush watermelons with that shit. What did he just say? What did that mean? I'm itching. I am itching to know. I'm itching. I'm itching. All right, guys. Well, that was the, sorry, not the latest. This is the episode 4 of The Umbrella Academy, which is called The Majestic 12. And we're learning a little bit more about these bigger plots going on around the scene in the 1963 here. And I like this. I mean, obviously I like all the episodes, but I really like this one. I feel like it was a good mixture of action plus, of course, the plot, the storyline, which is obviously the most important thing in this show. The stories of these kids and how they're dealing with all of this. So let's go through kind of who we focused on the most this episode. I think one was Allison and her marriage with Ray. So we saw that unfortunately Ray, you know, he left, he took off. And I said in the last episode that I don't think the way Allison's powers work, it's not like there's any, you know, there's no shiny lights that flash or anything like that. I mean, obviously, I don't know whether or not the eye thing where their eyes get like glazed over, if that's something people can actually see or if it's just something for the audience effect, but you can't really see it is my point. It's not this big ostentatious thing that she does. Ray only saw that. So obviously, in a world where obviously they don't have superpowered people, it seems like, what else are you going to assume except that your wife has a lot of power or that she's not who she says she is? So we discovered that Ray assumes that Allison is working with the police. I'm not sure why he thinks that Allison somehow triggered the call. I'm not sure, but I mean, I do get though that he would assume that she must know something, because how else do you get, as a black woman in the South during that time, how do you tell a white cop anything, right? There's no way. So understandably, he's like, how did you make him just walk away? No questions asked, not a glance behind, nothing. But what I said in the episode very briefly though is that even though Allison is very hurt right now and she understands that her lies are kind of what, not lies, but her withholding of the full truth has gotten her in this situation, I'm a little bit like, I'm of the mindset that if Ray was genuinely like for her, like he shouldn't have automatically assumed the worst of Allison right off the bat. Like, it says to me that Ray already just, I feel like Ray feels threatened. I think that he sees that Allison is smart. She's obviously smarter than him, right? She speaks 7 languages. My girl can, you know, break everybody's kneecaps without even using her powers. I think, unfortunately, there is, even today, issues where some men get very threatened when they see a woman who's very capable and powerful, and it chips away at their ego because they choose to look at that as a challenge. They choose to see that as a challenge to their masculinity when it's not. I feel like there was probably a lot of that going on with Ray already, and this is kind of a way for him to channel that finally, to be like, ah, see, I knew it. Like, this is why, you know, you're like this. It's sad, but like I said, overall, I feel like if Ray was really, really, really here for Allison, he would have at least showed up at home and said, okay, look, I don't know what happened there, but I'm giving you the opportunity to tell me your version. Like, you explain to me how this works. You explain to me how, you know, what happened last night happened. Like, someone who's genuinely in love with you and trusts you the way that they should trust you, especially as a partner, they should be willing to hear you out before they jump to conclusions. But Ray was way too happily ready to assume the absolute worst of Allison, so that pretty much answers your question. Like, he's not the right one, and as she said with Luther later on, I think her relationship with him was much more out of a space of needing something to make her feel anchored to this strange place and time than it was about her genuinely being in love with him. Because as she said to Luther, like, I never stopped thinking about you. I never gave up on you guys. I just didn't know what else to do. And that little moment, actually, just when Luther and Allison met at the barbecue place, there was that quick scene they showed where everyone disappeared around them. I think that was just kind of a really cute, symbolic way of being like they're still the only 2 people in the world for each other, right? Even after everything, we all know for Luther, it'll always be Allison first and vice versa. The timing is just always so messed up with those 2 so far. So, but anyway, yeah, it just kind of proves, like, deep down, I think Allison also knew that while she loves Ray, she's not in love with Ray. She's in love with Luther and vice versa. So at least now there's no more kind of reason for her to cling to that relationship. And obviously, if she knows now that the world's going to end in 8 days, it seems like she's got far more important things to worry about than trying to repair this relationship with Ray, which, again, if she doesn't want to tell him about her abilities, which, as I said, she really doesn't have an obligation to do so, it is what it is. So I just thought that was a really cool storyline. And of course, we had, while we're on the whole tip of romances and relationships, that kind of Tootsie slides right into what's going on with poor Klaus with his soul situation. We saw last week that he's trying to prevent the death of the love of his life, but unfortunately, as Ben tried to softly point out to him, but Klaus wasn't willing to hear, there was just no way for him to do that without explaining absolutely everything. And even then, there wasn't a good chance that he was going to be believed. And I also mentioned a bit in the last episode that, I think that Klaus is forgetting that it's the 60s. Anyway, very sad for him. Even more sad that he chose to break his sobriety over it. But this is sadly the tale of many addicts. This is just the fate of the Umbrella Academy. Like, they're just not great with relationships. And some of that has to do with their own baggage. And a lot of it also has to do with the fact that, oh yeah, there are a bunch of people trapped in a time that they don't belong in. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting how we focused on those two relationships for the most part of this episode. And then, of course, we had a little bit of side of Luther being pushed into a situation now where he now has to work with the group because he can no longer stay at the boarding house. Potentially has made an enemy as well of the gangster, which is probably not a good thing that might come back to haunt him yet. And then, of course, we had the whole, I don't know what you call it, the operation at the Mexican consulate. Well, apparently, I'm thinking what I'm figuring out. We see that the 12 were planning on, not the 12, 11 of the 12 wanted to assassinate Kennedy because he was asking too many questions about what I'm assuming is things that they've caused, like they said, Area 51, other things like that. So apparently they know things are going on. They want to keep the presidency out of it. So they were planning on assassinating him. But right before number 5 made a noise, we heard their dad kind of saying, I don't think this is the right way to go. Like, we don't need to do this. And so the assumption that I think that I took anyways from episode 2 was that their father might have been there to stop the assassination. I think that's why their dad was there, and that number 5 was actually sent, future number 5 was actually sent to stop their dad just from stopping the assassin who killed Kennedy. I hope that made sense. Really good episode once again. Love the way it's coming along. It ended on a cliffhanger for me because I really, really want to know, like, what are the next steps here? Like, what are we going to do now that number 5 has made contact with their father in a way that I think is going to make him curious about them for the first time since they got into this time period. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me, guys. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. And again, if you like what you see here and you've been here before, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can be notified for whenever I upload more of these reactions. So until next time, guys, see ya!